Hey guys, I'm Kristen. I am the cake decorator at Fairy Cakes Cupcakery. I thought I would take this time to show you guys how to make a couple of really super cute Easter cake pops. We're gonna make a blue robin's egg, a little chick, and a little bunny. Traditional, Easter things. I'll show you the supplies you need. So of course the first thing we're gonna start with is gloves in this day and age. Next we're gonna need our cake mush. Cake mush is really just cake scraps, any kind. Mash it up with some frosting until you don't want it super wet, just enough to kind of where you can squeeze it together and it'll hold its shape. I'm using chocolate. We're going to need sticks, cake pop sticks. You can find them at any craft store if you can find one open. Lollipop sticks, popsicle sticks, whatever you have, toothpicks, whatever will work. We like to use here really fancy, cute themed straws, so I have a couple Easter ones right here. And to dip our cake pops, we're going to use the Wilton Candy Melts. They come in several different colors. Again, you can find them at any craft store. You can usually find a couple stray colors at grocery stores, usually more along the lines of plain white. Or you can maybe even order them off Amazon. We're also going to have 2 pastry bags, one filled with orange and one filled with yellow for our detail, and one filled with white for a little bit of piping technique I'll show you. Our colors today we're going to use is this lovely blue. It is just the Wilton Candy Melts blue. It kind of looks like the robin egg color. Yellow and white. And then I also have a couple of really fun sprinkle mixes here. I have some bunny and chickens, pastel nonpareils. This is one of my favorites right here. And a couple eggs. So just traditional fun Easter sprinkles, but you can really use whatever you have on hand. And then some spatulas just to stir our chocolate with. I also have laid down a tray with parchment. Parchment is your best friend if you don't want stuff to stick. So yeah, let's get started. Now, through a lot of trial and error, we have learned over here that you want your cake pop mush to be room temp. When it's cold and you dip it, it actually causes the chocolate to crack when the cakes come back down to room temp. So to avoid this, we always keep our cake pop mush at room temperature. So I like to use a perfectly round scoop. It's just medium size, a little smaller than an ice cream cone. It looks the size of what you would picture a cake pop ball to be. But you can also just freehand it and do it the best you can. So we're going to start by scooping just a couple of these. Again, you want the consistency to be where if you squeeze it with enough pressure that it will hold its shape. If it's too crumbly, you need to add more frosting. If it's so wet that it's kind of really sticking to your hands and when you put it down it kind of sinks into itself, then it's got way too much frosting and you're going to want to add some more cake. Again, with cake pops, it is a lot of trial and error to get it to the right consistency. Especially through video, it's really hard for me to kind of hands-on show you guys what I mean. But yeah, and then you're just going to roll it into a ball. For our chicks and bunnies, we are going to keep them in ball form. It's a lot simpler. They're still going to look just like little chicks and just like little bunnies. A lot of the time, the three-dimensional shapes are really cute, but unnecessary if you're not feeling up to that skill level. The eggs we can actually make into a nice oval shape just by adjusting the way we roll them. So again, I'm just going to roll a few out here. If you notice while you're rolling that it's getting not crumbling, but just like there's like one crack coming down the middle, just squeeze your cake pop mush together a little more. That just might be like a dry pocket that needs to be mixed a little more thoroughly. But other than that, it should come right together. Kind of smooth out your edges a little. So on top of the robin's egg bunny and chick, I'm also going to roll out a couple extras to make just traditional egg-shaped ones so that we can dip those in white and kind of have fun with sprinkles. And I can also show you a marbling effect, which is one of my most favorite things to do with cake pops. So we'll just do a couple extra for that. Now again, like I said, once we get these rolling out, we don't want to refrigerate them. We want to keep everything room temp. After we get them rolled out, we will do our melting of our chocolate. You just do it in the microwave. I have little quart containers here, half quarts, but any microwavable dish is really fine and will work. The wilting candy melts really good, so you shouldn't really have too many issues with that, but we will delve into that shortly. All right. So I got a circle for my bunny, a circle for my chick, and now the egg shape. So once you have your average circle here, we're just gonna kind of, instead of rolling it around, roll it one way between our hands. Not really touching the top or bottom of it, but just kind of trying to roll out the middle a little bit to get that oval shape. And then the rest is kind of just, you know, hand smoothing until it looks like an egg to your satisfactory. This is kind of good for me, if you can see it. So we can do that. If you don't want to make the egg shape, you can absolutely keep them circles. They will still look really fun and Eastery. If you're just using really fun Easter sprinkles, it's not even necessary to have them look like eggs, because as you've seen, my sprinkles are very well themed to Easter, so there will be no mistaking, I don't think, that these are spring/Easter cake pops. But I am going to do a couple eggs just for demonstration. But traditionally here, we do like to kind of try and keep them circles because they're simpler, but then add detailed effects, which I will show you. We will pipe little white chocolate bunny ears for our bunny cake pops. So that should be fun. I'm gonna get just maybe one or two more here, and then we will move on. How is everyone enjoying this quarantine? I am missing working. We are doing the right thing by our customers, but since I'm here alone, I figured I would, you know, get into the Easter spirit since it's coming up, and not quite sure where everyone will be at that time in the world, so let's just keep it fun and get some Easter spirit going. Okay, I think I got enough here to start. I got a good 6. That'll make a nice even number for the sake of taking a picture, which is really all I can do with these. I can eat them myself, but 6 is a lot of cake pops for me to eat in one sitting. Alright, so we are going to move on to melting chocolate. Okay, so I have melted down my white chocolate. Now when melting the candy melts, it does describe it on the bag, but again, you're going to want to stop every 30 seconds and kind of mix the chocolate around. This will avoid creating little hot spots that will eventually burn if you don't mix them in, to keep the chocolate an even temp throughout. So I have my white melted here. Now what we're going to do is take one of our sticks, dip it in the chocolate a little, and then this is going to act as a glue to keep the stick in the cake pop. So then I'm just going to pop it right in the top, like that. And then we're going to dip. If your container is deep enough, you can just dip it straight down into the chocolate. Mine's a little shallow, so I kind of have to angle a little to get the whole cake pop covered. Give it a little shake. I like to kind of throw mine around like this and swirl it and make little fun patterns in the chocolate. And then we're just gonna gently scrape the bottom so that it doesn't create a pool of chocolate under our cake pop. And then it's dipped, and this will be our bunny. So we sit him there. This is the time when you're gonna wanna put the straw in. Again, we're not gonna push the straw through the cake pop. It's just gonna gently set on top, and it will adhere to the chocolate. Like so. Okay. Next, we will dip our little chick. All right, so we're gonna take our stick again, dip it in our yellow chocolate, put the stick in one of our round circle cake pops, again like so, and then we're going to dip our chick. Shake him off a little, and gently scrape the bottom. Again, get the stick in, or straw, I mean, if you have a straw. And there, our chick is dipped. Alright, and now we are going to dip the egg. Okay, so now we're going to dip one of our egg shapes. So again, we take a stick, we're going to dip it in the blue, put it into the top of the egg, and it really shouldn't alter the shape too much, but if it does, just, you know, give it a little pinch to how you would like it to look. And then we're gonna dip. And we're gonna do the same thing with the egg shape. Drizzle it off, gently scrape the bottom, and set it down, and put a stick in the top. Now, some troubleshooting for your chocolate. While majority of the time these melt great, there are times where it can be a little thick and hard to work with. If that happens, you can try melting on the defrost setting. It will take significantly longer, but that should help. Or also you can try adding the tiniest bits of vegetable oil at a time, mixing them in until it's a good kind of drippable consistency like that is really what we want to aim for here. All right, so we now have our 3 dipped cake pops. Before we decorate those, we're going to go on and dip our other 3. The 2 that will just be sprinkled with cute sprinkles, and the marbled egg one. You can do these in any order you want. You can sprinkle whatever you want, marble whatever you want. I'm just going to show you the technique. So for a marble effect, what you're going to want to do is have your base color. I'm using white. I traditionally like to use white. It helps the other colors pop against it. And then any other color you want to drizzle, you can put in. I'm going to use pink. I think my Easter blend here could use a little more pop of color, since we'll have a couple solid white ones with just sprinkles. So what we're going to want to do is first dip our stick in the white. And then put it in our cake pop. I'm choosing to use the egg-shaped one. And then what we're gonna do is, I have a little bag full of pink. I've cut a little tip in it. You're going to drizzle the pink into the white, back and forth in all different kinds of patterns. Kind of looks like that. And then you're just going to dip the cake pop in. Kind of swirl it around how you want. And again, do the same shake off. And drag the bottom across like we do. And there, we have a little marbled egg. I'm going to add a couple sprinkles to mine and a stick, of course. I'm going to go with the cute nonpareils, my fave. So again, you can do that with any of the shaped cake pops, the circles, the egg shape. I chose the egg. And you can do it as many times as you want. The chocolate stays fairly like that. When it starts getting mixed in a little, don't spatula mix, just add more to the top. You just drizzle more. The top layer is what's going to give you that marble effect, so we don't want to mix it in. So yeah, that's how you marble. So for my last two here, I'm going to show you one dipped in white with just a couple sprinkles on it. And then the other one, I think what I'm going to do is dip in white and show you a little bottom drizzle with sprinkles and then maybe a little piped carrot. Yeah, and that'll be it. Okay, so I'm dipping my next white cake pop. Again, I'm using a bowl because I've already used my egg ones. Sticks in. Gonna dip it, swirl it around. Shimmy off the extra chocolate. And gently scrape the bottom. And then you're gonna want to sprinkle this right away and then put the straw in. My white chocolate today is setting up a little fast on me, probably because it's so cool in here from us not being in. Put my stick in. And there. Just got a couple cute little Easter quins on there. Those ones are really simple for kids, really fun. Kids like to go crazy with sprinkles. So that's a really good option for them. Again, you can use any mix of sprinkles. You can put them around the top, all around the whole thing, or just sprinkling on the bottom. But yeah, super easy, super simple. Our next one I'm going to dip, and then we'll have to let it set up to drizzle. So again, I'm going to dip the stick, put it in the cake pop, and then cover my cake pop, shimmy off the extra, and gently scrape the bottom. Now, scraping the bottom not only prevents a pool under your cake pop of unnecessary ugly chocolate, but also kind of creates just a little flat seat for it to set on. I'm gonna put my straw on, and that one we're gonna leave. All right, now we're gonna jump into decorating our bunny, chick, and our robin's egg. So I'm gonna start with decorating the chick. For this, we're going to need to melt our yellow in a bag and our orange in a bag. Okay, so we're gonna start decorating our chick. So what we have is our yellow and orange in a bag melted. I have cut really tiny tips for them. All right, and we're gonna start by giving our little chick, pick whichever side you want to be the front, and we're going to give him a little triangle nose. Just like that, right in the center. And then I'm also going to give him at the base of the cake pop, just little triangle feet. So that when he's sitting down, he will look like he's just perched up on his little feet. Then we're going to take our yellow and we're going to add little wings to the sides and a little swirl on top of his head for a little piece of, little feathery hair. So what we're going to do is on the side of the cake pop, the direct sides where his wings would be, is just give him a little swirl like so. And that'll look like his little wings. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. If you mess up, you can actually wipe it off if you're quick and give it another try. Mine was not very symmetrical, so I'm going to do that again. There, that looks a little better. And then I'm going to come down from where the straw is right here and do the same kind of little swirl, but just slightly smaller. And there it is. Now for his eyes, if you have black chocolate, you can pipe it. There are also edible food markers. It's basically food dye in a pen. I'm just going to draw 2 little circles on there for his eyeballs. All right. sometimes these markers don't work the greatest, so if you have a little bit of food dye and you'd rather go that route, you can do that. I might have to jazz mine up a little bit after this with some food dye because these markers on chocolate are not the greatest. But you get the gist. There's his little eyes. And we have a little Easter chick. Next, we are going to do the bunny. So for the bunny, we are only going to need the white in a bag. I also have here, again, the black edible food marker and the pink. I'm going to hope those are going to work. Otherwise, you can use the little bit of pink, if you had any in a bag, as the little nose. And again, if you had the black chocolate, you could use that for his eyes. So we are going to get our bunny ready. Okay, so I have my chocolate ready for my bunny. What we're going to be doing is piping the ears on the parchment, letting them set up, and then we're going to glue them to the bunny rabbit. So you can pipe your ears any size you want. Try and keep them relative to the size of the cake pop. We don't want them too huge because then that risks them breaking more. We don't want them too small because then he'll look like a little mouse instead of a bunny. You can use a stencil if you want, if you have something, or print something up, or just hand draw it on there. I'm just going to freehand mine. And then I will show you what they look like. And what we can do after they're set up is use a little bit of luster dust to get that nice pink color in between them. So let me show you what I have here. These are my bunny ears. We could see them. There they are. So they're fairly small. The bases of them are fairly small so that they'll attach nicely to the bunny. And as you can see, the cake pop in front of it, they're pretty relative to the size of his head. Alright, so we'll let those set up. Now for the tail. Some options, you could just pipe up a big squiggly of chocolate like that and hope that it, sorry, white on white, you probably can't see that again. Just a chunk of chocolate and hope it, you know, sets up how you want it to, like that. You could do that and cover it in white nonpareils and then let it dry. I happen to have these giant white sixlets, so that's what I'm going to use for my bunny today. Now you're going to pick your back of your bunny, and I'm just going to glue the sixlet. Now with big candies like this, they're really not your friend on a cake pop. They tend to roll off, so you're going to have to hold it for a few seconds until it adheres to the cake pop. And as you can see, he'll have a little fluffy chocolate tail bunny butt. But again, yeah, you can do the little piped one, cover it in sprinkles if you want, or you can have no tail. Who needs a tail? And again, my white is setting up good today because it's really cold in here, so there you have it. When he sits, he'll be he'll have a little bunny butt. Okay. Now also what we can do with the white is similar to what we did with the chick, is give him little front paws. So I'm just going to pipe kind of just a little shape that kind of looks like it might be feet when he sets up. Semi-close to each other. Doesn't have to be perfect either way. When he's sitting on the ground, it's gonna look like, as you can see, little paws. So I'm gonna let him dry there like that. And then after our ears set up, we'll attach those and then we'll give him a little face. Okay, so I have decided it's going to be easier to give our bunnies a face before we glue the ears because of where we need to hold the base of the cake pop. So for the face, we are going to make a cute little pink heart-shaped nose, or you could do a triangle. I have my food marker right here, so just right in the middle is where I'm going to do that of his face. As you can see, he's got a little cute heart nose. For his eyes, I have picked a different black food marker that will hopefully work better than the one we used for the chick. I'm going to do the traditional unicorn eyes, if you've seen the unicorn cakes. It is a little mark up and then 2 out for the eyelashes. And I will show you when I'm done. So up and out for the eyelashes. There's one eye. Again, it's a little rainbow type shape up and then out for the eyelashes. And there's his cute little eyes. And then for his little mouth, little bunnies, you know, traditionally in cartoon form have that little tiny, you make them like a little mouth, a little bunny mouth. Alright, so we have his face. Now time to attach the ears. So my pink edible marker is working really well, so I used that to color in my ears to have the pink that they would. As you can see, I could pick these up, they're perfectly fine and solid. What we're going to do is take our white chocolate in a bag. You're going to attach some chocolate just to the base right here. And you're going to attach it to the rabbit right here, kind of leaning against the cake pop stick, like so. The cake pop stick gives it a little more stability of something to be glued to, as opposed to just trying to glue this skinny little flat bottom onto a rounded object. We're going to do the same with the other side. Again, right next to each other, right against the stick a little bit. It gives it more stability. And there he is, super cute. You can get real creative with it and add little flowers there if you want, or if you wanted to do, you know, pick a couple choice sprinkles and glue them on, or if you're familiar with making like little tiny fondant flowers or any of that, you could certainly do that. I'm going to leave mine just like that. I think he's adorable the way he is with his little cotton tail. Alright, now we're going to do our robin's egg. For our robin's egg, it's already our base color blue. What we're going to do is mix a little bit of cocoa powder with a little bit of water. If you don't have cocoa powder, you should maybe get some. Just kidding. You can kind of water down a little bit of food dye, but cocoa powder would be best, just so it's not gonna smudge as much. And what we're gonna do is flick the specks onto our robin's egg. Okay, we're back with our cocoa powder water mix. So for this, the consistency you're gonna want is not so dry that it's like a paste, but not so wet that, as you can see, I can pick it up on my brush and it's not really, it's liquid, but it's not real, it's not falling off, it's not running off the brush. We can test that this consistency is right by dabbing the tip of our paintbrush, which is what we're gonna flick the spots with, and you pull the bristles back and we're gonna flick them onto the parchment to see if they give spots. Now mine gives a little bit of spots, but I'm gonna add just a tiniest little drop of water more to make it a little more flexible. Alright, again, see, I can pick it up and it's not really dripping off. If I leave it there long enough it will, but it's not running off of the brush. Alright, so we're gonna scrape the excess off the brush, and I'm just gonna do the test again on my parchment, because I only made one robin's egg and I don't want to ruin it. Alright, so I got some on the tip, and you're going to pull the bristles back and launch them at the parchment. Gotta use a little bit of force. And again, if you feel like you need more water, use more water. Just try not to make it too runny. Now for the brush, you're going to want a brush that's got kind of stiff bristles. If they're soft, they don't have a lot of spring back. So it just took me a couple tries, as you can see. I went through 3 brushes until I found one I kind of liked. So I will try and show you here what my speckle, like what I'm really looking for when I fling cocoa powder off of this. So I got a good amount on the tip. I'm gonna pull back and it's gonna kind of create, as you can see, all of these. You get a couple large speckles, but also some small ones. That's kind of what we want. So now I'm gonna take my robin's egg cake pop. You're gonna wanna put the cake pop where your brown speckles are not gonna fly towards any of our other cake pops. Okay, and you're going to get some on your brush, and we're gonna start flinging them at our cake pop. Now you might have to dip a couple times. Again, flicking cocoa powder is not the same as flicking like food dye or those edible gold and silver paints that you might see in a lot of fancier desserts. You could also do gold for this. It would look really pretty, but for the sake of tradition of the Whopper eggs, the robin's eggs, I'm going with the cocoa powder. Plus, most of you are more likely to have this on hand than you are edible gold powder. You can do as many spots as you want or as few spots as you want. I think I kind of got mine as good as I would like it right now. And a speckled gold robin's egg. I would like to get the base a little more, so if I want to do that, I can temporarily, carefully lay my cake pop on the side. I say carefully because I don't want to smudge any of the brown on the back until it dries, but the cake pop itself will be fine to lay on its side. It's not going anywhere. Of course, don't bang it on the table, then it might crack. That's better. I got the bottom a little better. Wipe off your fingertips on your apron or a paper towel before you go and touch your stick. The stick will have a little bit of brown speckle, but I mean, I don't think it takes away from it too much. If you don't like that, you can try wrapping your cake pop stick in parchment beforehand with a little piece of tape. I'm not gonna go that crazy about it. It doesn't really bother me that much. So there we have it. We have our 3 little guys here. I will show you them. Ta-da! And they look adorably cute for Easter. Now I will show you the little bit of drizzle on our last cake pop. And then just a little piped carrot, just to give you a little something extra, a little something fun, a little practice with piping on an actual cake pop. So for that, I'm going to need, again, my orange in a bag. If you have green in a bag, awesome. We can use that for the green leafy parts of the carrot, or you can use an edible food marker if you have it. And then we are going to need, I'm going to use white for the bottom of my drizzle in the corner to attach the sprinkles. You can use any color you want though. Okay, so I have my 3 colors, orange, white, and green. First, I'm going to drizzle the white and pick a sprinkle to put on the edge. Where I'm going to do it is this bottom edge here. And I think I'm going to go with my pastel nonpareils. So you're just going to give it a quick drizzle. It's just going to be squeeze it a consistent and just back and forth. And then release pressure when you want to pull away. So I'm going to do that. As you can see, I got a little drizzle there. I'm going to sprinkle my nonpareils right onto it. White on white is a really good way to add the pop of color without adding too much clashing. It gives it the little bit of texture, the little bit of color without too much. I love putting side drizzles on the bottom like this. I don't know why, they just look really cute to me, and this one coincidentally matches my cute little rainbow striped straw. So that makes it even better. Doesn't have to go all the way to the back. Again, we're not going to see the back much, so I'm not worried about making it perfect connecting edge to edge. We're really just going for front appeal. So we have that. That's all we need our white for, and that's all we need our sprinkles for. Next, I'm going to take my orange, and I'm going to first show you how to pipe a little carrot. I'm going to do my best at this angle. Alright, so what we're going to do here is start at the top and you're just gonna kind of squiggle down into a carrot shape. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you can get it a little more drizzle looking, go ahead. You can do it a little more filled. The important part is to come to a point at the bottom, or I can just do a straight triangle. Any of those are really going to be fine. So whichever one you feel like doing. I can't really decide which one I want right now, but I'm about to right now. So what we're going to do is take the cake pop. You're going to want to hold it close to you. You're going to want to have not too much pressure on this bag, not like when we're drizzling, because the chocolate is runny. It will come out fast if you squeeze it too much. So just start where you would want your carrot and kind of just go in and make your carrot shape very gently. You're hardly squeezing at all. To prevent having a long bottom, when you come to the bottom point, what you're going to want to do is pull back up into your carrot as you pull away. That will prevent your carrot from making a long strand at the bottom. But there you go. I have a little orange triangle. And then we're going to take our green, whether it's your green marker or your green chocolate, and we're going to pipe or draw the green leafy parts. Alright, so I'm going to get ready to pipe my green leafies. Again, if you get the carrot done fairly quickly and you don't like it, if you're quick enough, you can wipe it off. If you just don't like it at all, you can actually just use the back of your cake pop. Re-drizzle the front and leave the drizzle. Try the carrot again. Or when it's set up, you can probably even scratch that off and try again. So we're going to take our green chocolate in a bag. The tip's a little wide. You really want to make sure your tips are thin for this. But I ironically already had this in a little baggie, so it'll have to do. And then you're just going to pipe some lines up. Like so. We have just a little carrot with our little drizzle, just to kind of add a little more pop of color and make him fit in a little more with the Easter theme here. So yeah, and that is how you can make some really cute Easter cake pops. I'm going to line them all up and I'll show you them all together. And here they are. Perfectly cute and adorned for Easter. They will be the hit of your isolated, quarantined Easter celebration.